Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Volume 2, Book 23, number 462. Narrated by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Allah's Apostle said, when the funeral is ready for its burial, and the people lift it on their shoulders, then if the deceased is a righteous person he says, take me ahead, and if he is not a righteous one then he says, woe to it, me. Where are you taking it, me? And his voice is audible to everything except human beings, and if they heard it they would fall down unconscious. Volume 2, Book 23, number 463. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. Allah's Apostle, P. B. U. H. said, any Muslim whose 3 children died before the age of puberty will be granted paradise by Allah because of his mercy to them. Volume 2, Book 23, number 464. Narrated by Al-Bara. When Ibrahim, the son of Prophet, expired, Allah's Apostle said, there is a wet nurse for him in paradise. Volume 2, Book 23, number 465. Narrated by Ibn Abbas. Allah's Apostle, P. B. U. H. was asked about the children of mushrikeen, pagans. The Prophet replied, since Allah created them, he knows what sort of deeds they would have done. Volume 2, Book 23, number 466. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. The Prophet was asked about the offspring of pagans, mushrikeen, so he said, Allah knows what sort of deeds they would have done. Volume 2, Book 23, number 467. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, every child is born with a true faith of Islam, i.e. to worship none but Allah alone, and his parents convert him to Judaism or Christianity or Magianism, as an animal delivers a perfect baby animal. Do you find it mutilated? Volume 2, Book 23, number 468. Narrated by Samura bin Jundub. Whenever the Prophet finished the morning prayer, he would face us and ask, who amongst you had a dream last night? So if anyone had seen a dream he would narrate it. The Prophet would say, MashaAllah, an Arabic maxim meaning literally, what Allah wished, and it indicates a good omen. One day, he asked us whether any one of us had seen a dream. We replied in the negative. The Prophet said, but I had seen a dream last night that 2 men came to me, caught hold of my hands, and took me to the sacred land, Jerusalem. There, I saw a person sitting and another standing with an iron hook in his hand pushing it inside the mouth of the former till it reached the jawbone, and then tore off one side of his cheek, and then did the same with the other side. In the meantime the first side of his cheek became normal again and then he repeated the same operation again. I said, what is this? They told me to proceed on and we went on till we came to a man lying flat on his back, and another man standing at his head carrying a stone or a piece of rock, and crushing the head of the lying man with that stone. Whenever he struck him, the stone rolled away. The man went to pick it up and by the time he returned to him, the crushed head had returned to its normal state and the man came back and struck him again, and so on. I said, who is this? They told me to proceed on. So we proceeded on and passed by a hole like an oven, with a narrow top and wide bottom, and the fire was kindling underneath that hole. Whenever the fire flame went up, the people were lifted up to such an extent that they about to get out of it, and whenever the fire got quieter, the people went down into it, and there were naked men and women in it. I said, who is this? They told me to proceed on. So we proceeded on till we reached a river of blood and a man was in it, and another man was standing at its bank with stones in front of him, facing the man standing in the river. Whenever the man in the river wanted to come out, The other one threw a stone in his mouth and caused him to retreat to his original position. And so whenever he wanted to come out, the other would throw a stone in his mouth, and he would retreat to his original position. I asked, "What is this?" They told me to proceed on, and we did so till we reached a well-flourished green garden having a huge tree, and near its root was sitting an old man with some children. I saw another man near the tree with fire in front of him, and he was kindling it up. Then they, i.e. my two companions, made me climb up the tree and made me enter a house, better than which I have ever seen. In it were some old men and young men, women and children. Then they took me out of this house and made me climb up the tree and made me enter another house that was better and superior to the first, containing old and young people. I said to them, i.e. my two companions, "You have made me ramble all the night. Tell me all about that I have seen." They said, "Yes. As for the one whose cheek you saw being torn away, he was a liar and he used to tell lies, and the people would report those lies on his authority till they spread all over the world. So, he will be punished like that till the day of resurrection. The one whose head you saw being crushed is the one whom Allah had given the knowledge of Quran, i.e. knowing it by heart. But he used to sleep at night, i.e. he did not recite it then, and did not use to act upon it, i.e. upon its orders etc., by day. And so this punishment will go on till the day of resurrection. And those you saw in the hole, like oven, were adulterers, those men and women who commit illegal sexual intercourse. And those you saw in the river of blood were those dealing in riba, usury. And the old man who was sitting at the base of the tree was Abraham, and the little children around him were the offspring of the people. And the one who was kindling the fire was Malik, the gatekeeper of the hell fire. And the first house in which you have gone was the house of the common believers, and the second house was of the martyrs. I am Gabriel and this is Michael. Raise your head. I raised my head and saw a thing like a cloud over me. They said, "That is your place." I said, "Let me enter my place." They said, "You still have some life which you have not yet completed, and when you complete that remaining portion of your life, you will then enter your place." Volume 2, Book 23, number 469. Narrated by Hisham's father. Aisha said, "I went to Abu Bakr during his fatal illness, and he asked me, 'In how many garments was the Prophet shrouded?' She replied, 'In 3 sahaliya pieces of white cloth of cotton, and there was neither a shirt nor a turban among them.' Abu Bakr further asked her, 'On which day did the Prophet die?' She replied, 'He died on Monday.' He asked, 'What is today?' She replied, 'Today is Monday.' He added, 'I hope I shall die sometime between this morning and tonight.' Then he looked at a garment that he was wearing during his illness, and it had some stains of saffron. Then he said, 'Wash this garment of mine and add 2 more garments and shroud me in them.' I said, 'This is worn out.' He said, 'A living person has more right to wear new clothes than a dead one. The shroud is only for the body's pus.' He did not die till it was the night of Tuesday and was buried before the morning.